After this race, we only have three titles left to decide. We've got tomorrow's racing. We'll be starting again early tomorrow. Various bits of action. Men's elite races on Sunday. Men's elite races on Sunday starts at 9:45 local time. In the morning local time. Tomorrow the women's elite race. Which will be 164.6 kilometres, same as today on this local circuit. Women's junior race will be first thing in the morning. Women's junior race will be first thing in the morning at 8:24 kilometres, five times around this circuit. The women's race 11 times around this circuit. Hoping the rain stays away. We've said we're moving towards rainy season. Hopefully it will just hold off. Hopefully it will just hold off until Sunday night. All the way until Sunday night. The women's elite race is going to be interesting. The men's elite road race on Sunday takes us massive extension circuit, which actually we drove around a few days ago and took a look. That's going to be some circuit that the ride's going to go on. Because I don't remember much in the way of flat roads on that circuit. Flat roads on that circuit, big loop, and it takes them over the Ihere Ijisho, the famous climb, which is the famous campaign against genocide. A little while ago, with this incredible sculpture. We go over the Ihere Ijisho, which is an incredible climb. We go over Monkey Gali as well. Takes us up to 1,700 metres above sea level. 71 metres above sea level. So the riders in that men's elite race are around that big circuit. They do 9 laps of the local circuit. Then they go back out on a big extension. They do 6 laps of the local circuit. This is the lineup of the Spanish team. Two Canadian riders at the back now. Suddenly you can go from feeling great, feeling so good, to not feeling so good. Well, we saw Harry Hudson earlier on. And we wondered what his next steps are going to be, and they've just been announced. That he is going to be riding for Future Racing. Future Racing. So that becoming a bike rider and having a career as a bike rider, because that's career as a bike rider, what I love doing. In his words, riding a bike. What I love doing. Riding a bike. As we see a puncture here. Puncture for Moreira of Portugal. There's nothing he can do. He can't really ride on it. It's gone down so quickly. Harry Hudson has signed for Leader Trek. The team of Leader Trek. Hands on him straight away. Got their hands on him straight away. We're inside the magic 100 kilometres to go. The magic 100 kilometres to go in this Men's Road Race Championship. Men's Road Race Championship. Kilometres an hour. 57 kilometres an hour. We've got 7 laps of racing to go. We're heading towards Kigali Golf for the next time. We're going to get there in next time. We're going to get there in go up Kigali Golf and head towards the completion of the next lap. The completion of the next lap. I wonder when another nation will start to challenge Belgium. Finishing around about 60k to go. Around about 60k to go. They're probably going to let that happen. Alouani is out of the race. Alouani is out of the race. The Moroccan rider. He was the sole representative of Morocco. Now gone. Warren Millman still on the back. In front of him is number 7, Jonas Walton, who's 7. Looks to me like he's having one of those days where you are just nailed to the road and you're doing everything you can to ride through it. Just ride Zach Marriage, just dodging around at the back, wearing number 44. Wearing number 44. Greenwood and Mackenzie are his teammates. In the camera. Number 44 in the camera. Zach Marriage moves his way up the outside. He's going well. You can tell that. It just looks comfortable this afternoon. Seems to be just dealing with this race, doing whatever he wants. Zach Marriage's stagiaire role in a team here of Senegal. Ryan Munier here of Senegal has abandoned the race. And abandoned here as well. Martin Barter. Talking with Barters with a different slightly different accent. The American climber, Tudor Pro Cycling, 29-year-old Will Barter, 2-year deal with Tudor Pro Cycling now. So he's got some commitments. Long-term stability or longer-term stability or longer-term stability. He's a talented time driver, very good climber, and I see him getting better and better all the time. Belgium onto the climb again here. Kigali Golf. They must feel good. It must be a nice sight for Jana Wiedaar to be looking at his entire team, looking after him, just been able to ride in the wheels, taking everything on as we're inside that magic 100 kilometres. Still a lot of laps left, but still a lot of laps left going their way. They seem to have the entire race under control. South African team tagged to the back of this race. Number 77 on the left-hand side. Blaine Kick. He won the Grand Prix de Tourteron in France. Also finished second in France. Three racing days. 43 racing days. Will Piat and also out now is Samuel Couture. Canada, he's out of the race as well. See the detail in that skin suit while we take a look at him there. The Eritrean riders are going well in this race, aren't they? When we look through the group of riders, they are still well represented. And I'm just taking a quick look. Macau still represented. South Africa, Germany, Slovakia, Uzbekistan, USA. Uruguay still got riders in the front group. South Africa, Andorra as well. Eritrea, to me, they've got 1, 2, 3 or 4 riders still in here, Eritrea. There we are. We take a look at them now, wearing number 92. This is one of the riders from Eritrea, Michele. So things are going all right for them this afternoon. Milkias Michele and the rest of the Eritrean squad. I saw Daniel Tekelemenot a couple of days ago. He's here, obviously just being with the Eritrean team. Daniel Tekelemenot, who was a pro until, 2018? He finished his career with Cofidis. Rode for the likes of Orica Green Edge. He rode for Cervelo Test Team, for MTN Quebec and Dimension Data.
95.1 kilometers to go.
He was a winner, actually, here in Rwanda. Daniel Tekelemenot, he won the Tour of Rwanda in 2010. Remember him wearing a King of the Mountains jersey in, was it the Dauphiné, I think? As Dias Rizbey of Kazakhstan is now out of the race as well. Suddenly we're getting more and more riders coming into the pits. Back of the peloton, Ethiopia still represented here with number 86, Tekla Alameo. It's going well, isn't he? Bearing in mind, we are a long way in now to this World Championship. We're 70 kilometres into this race. They've lost Tesfaye, but they've still got 2 riders here in Haile Mariam and Alameo at the back. So you've got to be impressed at the way that these African riders are staying in this under-23 road race championship, because it's not been easy so far. This pace is relentless. It's one of those paces which really does destroy the legs. Last time we went through the end of the lap with nearly 60 kilometres completed, 58.9. And it was Belgium and Italy and Eritrea all at the front of the race. Still no major attacks since we saw the first attacks of the day. Those contained a number of different riders trying to make their move and trying to get involved in the action. We saw Pomorski of Poland, Alaleli of UAE, Yilmaz went on the attack, the Ukrainian rider Kozares went on the attack as well. As we reach Côte de Kimihurura for the next time, and still on the front. What a job this guy is doing. How is he riding like this for the entire time? The traditional drums, I do love the way that they've got all their t-shirts printed and everything is really detailed. There's a lovely shot across the cobbles to give you an idea of just how rough this surface is. And a moment where the legs start to falter from Svetkov of Uzbekistan, number 83, and also number 53, Zalka of the Czech Republic. Well, yesterday in other cycling news, as we see Belgium going to the top, David Lepartien was re-elected as the president of the UCI and announced almost at the top of the cobbles this time. The riders, when they get to the line, will have 6 laps of racing to go. And finally, the Belgian stronghold on the front of this peloton has been exploded by the arrival of Spain and also the team of Italy to try and rip this up a little bit. They're not impressed at letting the Belgians just continue, so now they start their plan. And a big move by the Italians as they start to rip this pace up a little bit now on the cobbled section. Big acceleration. That was a very, very big move. Suddenly, we get a long, long stretch of this pace. So it looked like it was Pietro Matteo who has upped the pace now, trying to get rid of the Belgian team off the front. Big explosion of tempo. It looked to me like Hector Alvarez of the team of Lidl Trek on the front. Now a little bit of a move by the Slovakian rider, not prepared now. Big attack of France, so number of riders want to try and break the will of the Belgian team this time. We come up to the line. This time we're going to have 6 laps of racing to go. Austria now started some accelerations too, so suddenly this little move means that everybody is suddenly sparked into life, and the peloton breaking into 2 parts. Well over 70 kilometres of racing covered now, nearly 74. We're coming up to almost 2 hours of racing. And now Belgium take control. The end of this lap. 6 laps of racing now remain. Across the line is Jarno Wiedar, who was the Belgian rider at the front. Average speed 41.079, so they've speeded up a little bit on that lap. And everybody taking a big deep breath. The peloton looks like it's coming back together, which would mean we have ended up with 63 riders left, 64 riders left. In fact, one more rider will probably come across. 65 riders. We've lost 10 that time in the main bulk of the peloton. Just hearing that Hamish Mackenzie's been dropped for Australia, which is a bit of a surprise. And I'm just taking a look. I've just seen Hamish Mackenzie just go past my commentary position. Significant margin down on the rest of the peloton. So it looks like Mackenzie is going to be out of the race. So Belgium take over after that little acceleration. Italy wanted to test things out a little bit by the looks of it. Hector Alvarez, the Spanish rider, the 18-year-old, just trying to inject a little bit more life into the rest of the peloton. He's a very talented bike rider, Hector Alvarez, one of the favourites for this afternoon, rides for the Lidl Trek Future Racing team. Finished third in the Tour of Austria this year. Alvarez has done a lot of racing this season, 40 race days, which for a young rider is a lot. He comes from Benidorm. Back of the peloton, number 19 here, Gomez. And one of those beautiful bikes of the Keepo Kern Farmer. If you've never seen these up close, they are stunning machines. The paint job is beautiful. He's got a contract there till the end of 2028. Started the Tour of Britain, didn't finish the first stage, had a crash or a bit of illness there, I remember. But apart from that, he's had a good season. And if you ever get the chance to go to a race or a Keepo Kern Farmer actually there and look at their setup, the green of those bikes is quite amazing actually. Looks very, very special indeed. 87.5 kilometres now remain on this race, 66 kilometres an hour downhill with the Belgian team in control. So the bands continue to play as the riders make their way towards Côte de Kigali Golf for another lap of racing. I can imagine by the end of the afternoon they're going to be pretty tired. They've been playing since 8 o'clock this morning, every time the riders go past. I don't know what the lips would be like by the end of the day. 28 degrees it is now, 11 km/h winds. The wind's picked up just a little bit. It's been a fast day, not a problem here for Jasper Schoofs of Belgium. He needs a team car. The team car is coming up. Jasper Schoofs, here comes the Belgian team car. And of course they don't have race radios, so they can only just go back and chat, and that's not so easy to do when the tempo has been as high as it has been all day. It's a bottle, but these riders are so experienced. Jasper Schoofs here rides for the Soudal Quick Step Development team. You can see he's on the specialised bike there as we head towards Côte de Kigali. So things have not really changed since that first attack of the day was brought back, and Belgium have been on the front for, what, 60 kilometres, I think, now, as the crowds get bigger at the side of the road. The sun is out, it's hot, it's getting warmer, and thanks for joining me for a little bit. Rochelle Gilmore, how is it out there?
Well, like you said, Anthony, it is really, really hot, and that's why you see the team director cars are giving the athletes ice to put down, try and keep their core temperature lower just to conserve a bit of energy that they might use later in the race. But it's a strange type of heat here. It just really knocks you about.
Yeah.
And a lot of the athletes have said that it's hard to acclimatise to this heat, even though it might only be 30 degrees. It's a different, heavy type of heat.
It feels really heavy, doesn't it, when you're outside? I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's super hard to breathe as well. Obviously, we're at altitude at 1,500 metres, but it seems to have an additional challenge to it with the thickness of the air.
Now, you've been outside for the day. You've had some meetings, as always. You're always busy. And you've been doing what you need to do out and about. But I'm really thankful for you joining us this afternoon for a little bit. How is the atmosphere out there? Because it does look like all the fans are out again. The atmosphere is growing, and it's another great championship day.
Well, in the vicinity of the start-finish, the finish line where we are here, it's nearly impossible to have a conversation with somebody because the drums are going, the atmosphere, it's loud, and it's impossible to have a conversation, or you have to use your voice. Normally I lose my voice when I'm commentating hours and hours, but when you're out and about here and wander around the finish line, if you're trying to talk to somebody, you actually have to yell at them because everybody's so excited, everybody's smiling, happy, dancing. So the atmosphere is absolutely unbelievable out there. I'm really happy to be tuning into this men's under-23 road race for a little bit. And they'll be racing 11 laps of this circuit, the same as the elite women will race tomorrow. And me, myself, well, I've been out there on a bike, and it is a tougher course than it looks on TV or on a profile or piece of paper. It's got beautifully smooth roads, been resurfaced especially for this championship, and then it's got that very, very, very hard cobble climb coming into the finish. So it's technically a difficult course for these riders, especially over the distance might be a little bit shorter than they do in other races, but here at the World Championships in Rwanda, this will certainly be a super taxing race, which begs the question of Belgium. They have got the clear favourite in the race, and they have dominated the front of the race from the start. Big question is, at this point of the race, with 83 kilometres to go, have they burnt matches too early? That's the only question. But they have, they look pretty relaxed, sitting in a line, and they've had one teammate just do a huge, huge job. So it looks like everything's going to plan, and they look confident coming in as race leaders of taking control of the race. Let's hope all of their riders manage with the climate here and the distance of the race. So on this part of the circuit, the other day I had to stop and have a breather myself. I sat down and I had a couple of the organising committee come and ask me, would you like us to get a doctor for you? And I said, no, I'm all right. I'm just having a little rest, and I'm waiting for the Australian team to come by, and I'm going to say hello to a few friends. And we got chatting, and the locals here are just so enthusiastic about cycling. It's incredible. Everyone you speak to, they're so happy to have the World Championships here. and they want to be helpful. They're actually wearing T-shirts that say, "Please ask me," and it's written right across their back. So it's just to give you a little bit of perspective if you haven't been able to make it to this year's World Championships. It's probably something we've never experienced before in terms of the organisation. So the UCI here at the World Championships have been very, very particular about riders using these cars as a way back to the peloton, particularly more than in other races. So riders have to be very, very careful if they go back to the team car not to use any slipstream assistance from the follow vehicles. So even though Belgium have been dominating for their race favourite, you can just see in the body language that there's not really that many other riders that are not labouring and moving their shoulders and swaying side to side any more than they are, so they look like they have things in control at this point of the race. Oh, an attack coming now from the Italian. Oh, Belgium are really, really demonstrating that it's their job to keep this race together. Try and neutralise it with putting a rider on the wheel. And still the team will continue to chase whilst they have a rider in the break. So have a rider in the break.
Michelle, two riders making their move now. This is the Italian rider who's been quite making a move at times, Matteo, and Scoufs, the Belgian. So the Belgian team have been riding on the front so much of today.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You can see that, you know, they put a rider to cover an attack. They had a rider protected that was, you know, it's your job, you go and cover that attack. But at the same time, they're still chasing, even though they've got a rider in the breakaway. They're still chasing, so they've put all their cards on Wilde, their number one rider for today.
But the fact that they've been riding all day and they believe in Jarno Widar today, do you think it's the right thing to do when we see a team like this who've basically ridden on the front of this peloton for, well, now approaching, what, 60-odd kilometres, 70 kilometres, and one rider in that team has done the majority of the work. Big attack again as another move starts to happen. Why do you think Belgium want to ride like that all day?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very big question. I had a glimpse of the screen when I was having a meeting with one of the ex-presidents of the UCI in the VIP box, and all you could see is blue on the front all the time.
Yeah.
And I did ask the question, I said, do you think they're doing a little bit too much too soon? Because that's the big question. You know, now they all need to take a breather now, and there's still 80 kilometres left to go in this race, so that is a really big question. The tactic obviously was to keep the pace high to neutralise attacks until Widar's going to make a big move at some point. But just keep him protected, keep the pace high, and keep this race together until he's ready to go.
But we've seen teams do this before. I mean, the biggest example of this happening was Mark Cavendish in his World Championship victory, wasn't it? He was looked after all day, and he managed to win the title. But we've seen it happen in other races where Great Britain tried to control the Olympic Games and then they didn't win anything. And so it's a risky strategy to put all your team on the front like that.
Yeah, it definitely is. But like you referred to the win of Mark Cavendish, is that it also puts more pressure on you. And it's a good pressure where you say, OK, my teammates, they've done every single thing possible today. All I need to do is finish it off. So it adds more pressure when you've got a complete team like this. You can see Belgium is still back to the front, keep the pace high, neutralise those attacks, and wait for Widar to make his move. But when your team does everything they're supposed to do, you feel like, okay, I've got that pressure on me, but they've done everything. I've just got to finish it off. Perfect.
Yeah, so it's good for him then, and he does look comfortable. He's looked like he's had one problem today, where he had to come back into the race, and he was paced back by Camille Eamon, who brought him back into the race really nicely. But apart from that, he's had a pretty much an armchair ride, although it's quite hard to say he's an armchair ride around this course. Whilst you've been out and about, what are people saying about the course itself? Are you getting any sense of how hard it really is out there?
A lot harder than anybody anticipated before actually coming, and not even saying riding it, but riding it at race pace over race distance. So if you look at it on paper, or you ride a lap, or you study the science of road surface, all the technicalities and the scientific elements, the climate, all that kind of thing. The thing is that it's just so many different challenges here that riders need to deal with that they can underestimate unless they've done a full race of 164.6 kilometres, 11 laps at race pace, to know if, like you mentioned it earlier, that a lot of riders rely on their power data.
Yes.
But they can't hit those datas here because they're at altitude and they've got really thick air to breathe in, and the cobbles are obviously taking a lot out of the riders as well. That's the toughest part of the course. So, yeah, I think the course has not been underestimated.
And now that we've seen the pattern of this racing going on, and tomorrow we'll be together for the women's race, how do you think it's going to impact on the elite races? Because they'll be watching this, won't they? There's a lot of elite riders watching this racing right now as we see an attack from Poland. How will it impact that women's race tomorrow, potentially, as Pomorski goes off the front? He's been on the attack already today, right at the beginning of the race. Can you see that we'll see just a peloton like this? Can you see attacks happening? How do you see that women's race will be impacted by the course, the terrain, and what we're going to see?
Well, it's interesting because I think now that they've seen it, and I've seen out on the course myself, riders like Anna van der Breggen doing laps at full race pace behind a motorbike, that there might be a chance that it's a non-eventful race because they're worried about the attrition, and it only takes a split moment to be dropped and the race is over here. It's not easy to get back because even the flat sections, they're not flat. It's a very up and down technical corners and obviously the two climbs. So it's possible that after what they're watching, that we might just see an attritional race until the last couple of laps.
It looks like that's what's happening in this race as well, where we saw an initial attack, then riders literally came from the front group and got dropped immediately as more riders drop out of the race at this point. And they've done, what, 90 kilometres nearly of this World Championship. This is Lee Yu. We saw him hanging at the back for a long, long time today. And again, the Belgian team take control and make sure that the tempo is how Jarno Wiedaert wants it. Luc Valenti of Canada was just being distanced. Rochelle, we always say about World Championships, if we haven't talked about you and we haven't seen you, then it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. More so in a sprint race, because you will, like you said, Wiedaert had to cover an attack, because if there's a rider that his teammates are not strong enough to cover, he will need to make that move himself. But this is a course where being protected is maybe a little bit less significant than on a long open road. You know, you roll along for 50 kilometres and you can be super protected, because you need to look after yourself on this course as well.
So you have to measure your energy, make sure you're not going over your limit, sit in the right place, not let people open gaps and everything.
Their teammates, I think, are very important for... I've seen the locals out here, always with a football, playing soccer. A couple of in the lobby, just they're amazing. They're young children.
In the lobby?
Yeah.
Really?
The young children, what they can do with a soccer ball, it's just, I sit there memorising, I'm just amazed.
That is one thing that I think is giving everybody a lot of joy. I noticed Kasia Niewiadoma was posting it. She just she just finds the kids around here incredible, and the way that they run and they play football, and they, you know, they just love the whole sport element of what goes on in this particular area. 30k an hour, Belgium still on the front. This is not good news here at the back for Slovenia. This is Jaka Marolt, he's gone. One of the Rwandan riders is also now distanced. This is Nyonkuru. Also the Spanish rider is dropped, and that is Fernandez. We're seeing more and more riders starting to feel the terrain and the tempo. Right on the back of the group though is Ravbar of Slovenia, as we pick him out on style again of Tadej Pogačar as he goes round that corner. 76.2 kilometres to go.
Now Belgium might have lost a couple of riders. They're still just keeping the tempo high. They're not trying to drop riders. They're just trying to nullify attacks, just to keep it together. They don't want somebody to sneak a minute or 2 minutes up the road that they're not really that aware of, you know, everyone's capabilities. So the safest way they want to race is just to keep that pace on the front really high. But if a rider of theirs gets dropped from Belgium, they just have to do their own hard work to get back and start helping again.
We're seeing riders who have mechanicals. It's problematic on this course, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a very difficult course for team cars to get up very quickly, and the Shimano spares, they do an absolutely fabulous job at the World Championships every year. And here it's a little bit troublesome. If you do have a mechanical, it's not. I haven't seen a fast bike change or wheel change or anything from the mechanical assistance.
No, it's all been quite steady, and we're not saying they're doing a bad job. It's just that the time for the cars to come up is difficult. It's really, really tricky. We're coming up now to the end of this lap, and we will have 5 laps of racing to go. We'll see what the average speed is this time. It was 41.079 last time, and we had 65 riders left in the main bulk of the peloton. It looks to me like we're going to have less riders this time. In Italy, now starting to be, I guess, in the ascendancy towards the front. 2 hours and 10 minutes of racing have gone by, and yet again, Belgium lead as we go across the line. Camille Eamon is the rider, followed by Lorenzo Finn. The average speed drops a little bit, 44.002. So Italy now take over. Just taking a look at how many riders are left in the main bulk of the peloton. It looks like we've got 45 riders left now. Rochelle, we lost 20 riders on that lap. This is the point of the race where all your power, your fitness, all that training, all that heat adaptation has made a big difference.
Yeah, Belgium also lost one of their own riders as well in that pace that they were setting up the cobbles over there and really hurting, you know, so not only themselves, but what happens is they do push the pace over the cobbles and over that climb, and then they sit up like this and it all comes back together again. So but it has an effect, obviously, every time they're hurting so much the legs of the other riders.
There's a real tempo going on now. Still Belgium as they hand bottles out on the front of the race.
It's been an exciting race. All the media and hype and everything, it's all been about Belgium versus Italy, but it's been Belgium who's taken up the responsibility of keeping the pace high and doing all the work. So the Italians might be very, very happy about that, having, you know, protecting their rider in Lorenzo
Finn, junior world champion last year, and they've got also Alessandro Borgo. And when we look at that team, Rochelle, that Italian team, and we talked about it a little while earlier today, that all their riders, Borgo rides for Bahrain Victorious, Simone Gualdi rides for Intermarché, Pietro Mattia rides for Visma Lease Bike, and Lorenzo Finn is a world champion last year and is in the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies. It's not a bad team, is it?
No, it's and yeah, it's really exciting for such a young rider to be in a team where, you know, you're development program, you still get the opportunity to race in the under-23. You may have mentioned it earlier whilst I wasn't here that this is the first year that professionals in the World Tour and Pro Peloton can't race in the under-23. You have to make that choice if you're going to jump into the professional. If you do go into World Tour or professional, you can't race the under-23 World Championship anymore.
Yeah, and that's why when you look through the list of riders for the first time, you look and think, where are the big names? But they're all development riders. But most of them are starting to move. A lot of the top riders are starting to move into the World Tour next season, so that's their first opportunity in the World Tour. They may well have been invited in to ride a World Tour race or a higher level race, but they can't be in the World Tour team.
Yeah, they can't be signed a contract with the World Tour team. So, yeah, I think I actually think it's first of all, at first I thought it wasn't a great move, but now I think the UCI have done a great job in saying, okay, we have a junior category, we have an under-23 category, and we have an elite category at the World Championship. Now, in the case of Italy's former winner, in the juniors, he now has an opportunity to win the under-23, and then we'll go on to elite and maybe win an elite championship one day. So I think it's great that we don't get two races very similar with similar classed riders.
Yeah.
We have an under-23 and we have a professional.
I think it is a good situation. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about heat adaptation, because I've seen some really interesting things on social media of some riders where they've done the heat adaptation training for this championship, and we've seen them wrapped in wearing extra layers and being in saunas and being out training in big white almost Hamzat suits.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of the riders that have targeted this World Championships have been in heat chambers. I'm not sure if they're scientifically advanced enough to completely acclimatise and provide that air quality, and which is something that a lot of the riders when they got here said it's just so hard to breathe, because they're in an altitude. They've been training in heat chambers at altitude at this level, but have they been able to experience the same type of air quality, which is what's kind of affecting a lot of the riders? Yeah,
and that's hard to do, isn't it? But why have they suddenly realised that you should be going out in these almost full suits and everything like that? Is that just literally to get your body temperature crazy high?
Well, I don't think that there's better ways, I think, they can do their acclimatisation and heat training than going out on the bike in sumo sweat sauna suits.
But you used to train in a sauna, didn't you, in your career?
I have done.
You have trained in a sauna?
In acclimatisation periods, yes.
Yes. And did it work, or?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a little bit. Yeah, if we spend 6 hours a day in a heat chamber in the month before a big event, it does have some effect. But, you know, in any sport and business and any aspect of life, there are so many different elements. So many. And in cycling, you can do the heat chambers and you can do everything possible, but you can always get here and things are not exactly as you sound.
You've done everything you can and then you might get caught out. You just never know. Just depends how you feel on the day. The Uruguay rider, number 60, is towards the back, Perez. So he's still in this group of riders, still riding well so far. We're heading now towards our next point on the horizon, which will be Kigali Golf again. It is stunning out here, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't been too far out of Kigali, but Kigali have worked years and years on preparing for this World Championship, and the people and the place is just incredible. It's hard to describe. I actually had a message from Kate Bates, who is a sports cycling commentator, this morning. She asked me, is the atmosphere there as everyone is actually saying it is? And I wrote back, yeah, it supersedes what you read. You just can't comprehend it. I said, this is so amazing. They haven't missed a thing. They've covered everything here in Rwanda. So for us, and also probably for the riders and managers and the locals, it's an experience that will never be matched.
No, I agree with you. I think everyone keeps saying that, and I think it is safe to say a lot of people were thinking, oh, what is this going to be like? The organisation here is incredible. The setup's incredible. As I said yesterday, when you normally talk to team managers around a World Championship, they have all sorts of complaints. Because team managers like to complain about something.
Yeah, no, everybody's very, very happy because everything's simple and they've got help everywhere. There's so many people walking around with a T-shirt that says, please ask me. If you have a question, ask me. And even if you don't ask a question, someone will come up and say, is there anything I can do for you?
Yeah.
So there are so many people here in Kigali who have, you know, donated their time to making sure everyone from athletes, managers, staff, commentators, media, everybody is really, really well looked after who is visiting Rwanda. And, you know, they've done their job well because I will be back in Rwanda because I want to meet more people, I want to see a lot more. And they're really, really, really nice people.
Yeah, I agree. And it would be nice to be able to go, because we've been working the entire time as we go past Kigali Golf Course. It'd be nice to go out and play 18 holes of golf or go out into the mountains and see what... Today I talked a little while earlier about Remco Evenepoel saying he thinks he's just done the most beautiful lap of training he's ever done. And just go out and see or ride the gravel tracks or do that sort of thing because it is beautiful. Go and see the gorillas, do that sort of thing out here in Rwanda.
Yeah, when I went to the official merchandising in the fan zone for the UCI, the gorillas, I haven't actually been back to it because I didn't have any money with me, but I've got a lot of friends that would really appreciate the gorilla with the UCI World Rainbow jersey on. It's awarded to the medalists when they're on the podium. They will obviously have a specific one that other people don't buy, but it would be, I think, it's a really cute little gorilla. But yeah, it would be great to go and experience the gorillas in the wild and do a safari. So yeah, it's been a wonderful time here so far in Belgium. They're all back, so they're all back together, just taking deep breaths. But I just wonder, Anthony, if they're playing a positive card for the Italians. That, you know, they're obviously very, very, very confident, and they've still got numbers there. So
I'm wondering whether this is a good tactic or not, and time will tell as to whether it is, because there are riders sitting in the wheels who, yes, they've got to suffer on the cobbles, yes, they've got to suffer on the other climbs, but the rest of the circuit, they're getting towed along. And we've got riders in here we can't forget who are incredible bike riders. Jakob Omrazel, for example, of Slovenia. We've got in here Hector Alvarez of Spain. We've got Jana Wieder behind his team. Maxime de Comble of France. He's in with a chance again this afternoon. But one of the riders who we haven't mentioned is Jakob Söderqvist. Haven't seen him all day. Rides for Sweden. Won the time trial the other day. An absolutely incredible bike rider. And I've been keeping an eye on him in this peloton. And he's just sitting in the wheels. He hasn't thought about being anywhere near the front. He's just sat in the midst of the group. Follows the wheels. Clearly feels good. And potentially could win this again as Belgium rip it up Kigali Golf yet again. And I can't believe this rider on the yellow bike on the left-hand side, Tim Rex, because he has literally been a one-man machine on the front, towing this group of riders along all day. And we're now at, what, nearly 100 kilometres, and I think he's ridden about 90, maybe 80k of it on the front himself, which is amazing.
I think he's just slipped back in on fourth wheel, maybe.
Yeah, he's gone now, which is not a surprise.
Yeah.
I think they've got to buy him dinner tonight.
That's a big, big effort. So, yeah, he'll call it a day now.
There he is. Finally, he's dropped. And he, for me, I don't know if he's dropped, actually.
No, he's still fighting.
He's
That's
like
incredible.
Wout van Aert, isn't he? Is he the next Wout van Aert?
That's incredible.
He is. He refuses to be dropped. Somehow he's staying in the wheels. I don't know how he's done it. He's some bike rider. If there was a most combative rider of the World Championships, he's the one. There he is, the legs.
He can't do it, and we can't fault him for that. A big 100 kilometres. What a powerhouse. He may have went further into the race than they might have given him a goal, try and get to 60 kilometres, and because I don't think the plan would have been, hey, just drive the pace for 100 kilometres.
Yeah, I'm just going to do 100k on the front, that'll do. T-Rex has gone. What a monster effort by him today. That's incredible. An amazing job. Now we're starting to see the pace really start to go up. We're over Kigali Gulf for this time, and we're heading now towards Kimihurura, where we are going to head up the cobbles. Oh, now there's a surprise. Soderquist has gone. Well, he hasn't been feeling great. I'm sorry to have mentioned him. I haven't mentioned him all day, and the first time I do, he's gone. The time trial world champion Soderquist is dropped, and more riders are going out the back. Suddenly, look at this, the race has been ripped apart. Eritrea have lost 2 riders out of that group. Also dropped is Gomez of Spain. Also distances Ramos of Spain. And suddenly Eritrea lose their riders in Baan and Michele. And look, the next group of riders just up the road with another Eritrean in it. The thoughts and hopes of many riders have suddenly been absolutely blitzed by the acceleration of Belgium on that climb. There's a problem for one of the Belgian riders at the back, and Jarno Wiedar is at the front with 2 of his teammates. They look for ice. He decides he doesn't need it. Australia's still represented. Alvarez on the far right-hand side for Spain. He still looks good. Riders having to keep themselves cool, though. We keep seeing Lorenzo Finn, the Italian, Rochelle, just pouring water over himself constantly.
Yeah, it's at this World Championships, I've never ever seen all the team managers and team staff, and also even the Shimano support vehicles who are dedicated to supporting with mechanics. They need to fill their cars with water and ice. The amount of water and ice that people have needed around the hotel and out in the fan zones and stuff, it's just logistically, they just ice water everywhere, ice water, ice water. I've never seen so much in my life, but it's there. They've managed it because wherever you go, there's always water and ice.
That's good news. You need it, and we've seen them handing them out in those, wrapped in those tights, and just getting set, put them down your neck, let the water dribble down your back, keep your core temperature as low as possible. Because once it goes too high, then it's game over. Well, Soderquist was one of the race favourites. He's gone. Jonas Walton, the son of Brian Walton, is also now right at the back of the group. There is a chance it might come back together, but how bad are the legs after being dropped on that section? Because we're going to head our way now to the cobbles, and if the legs are bad right now, you don't have an awful lot of time to recover. That's another characteristic of this course, isn't it? That you... Between the 2 climbs, there's only 3 or so kilometres, and there's not much recovery time.
No, definitely a course where you do not have a time to just switch off and recover, because the roads are super smooth. That's really, really nice, but there's always a corner coming up. There's always a hill coming up. It happens so quick at race pace that on this circuit, there's nowhere you can really just switch off and relax. And you know, so when you get maybe those 10 seconds to take a deep breath, but there's not much more than that.
63.9 kilometres now remain on this under-23 World Championship, won last year by Behrens of Germany ahead of Sverchek and Segart. Previous winners Axel Laurence, Mark Hirschi, Benoit Cosnefroid, Matti Moritz, Lutsenko, Demar, Matthews, Sieghardt, Basso, Kurt Arzel-Arvesen, and so many others. Riders trying everything they can to just stay in the slipstream as this race continues.
We've seen it also with the women's junior and under-23 races, how it keeps coming back together, but you know that when the pressure's really on that final climb, that there's only a handful of riders that can manage the pace, but then they back off and it all comes back together. And you think, okay, it's back together, there's opportunities for other people, but when it comes to the climbs, they just can't match the power. So it's you know, riders are fighting all the time to get back on, but actually when the race comes down to the finale and the big moves made, there's only really a handful of riders here that can potentially win the World Championships on this circuit.
Onto the cobbles again. Having looked yesterday, I'm going to give you kudos for this. because yesterday you weren't with me, but you messaged me about an hour into the women's race and told me that the French rider would probably win the race.
Yeah,
judging by what you'd been seeing.
I'd had a chance to put my laptop on and put on the UCI channel and listen to your commentary, which was fabulous. To watch a lap, and I think it was 5 or 6 laps to go, I don't know, and I hadn't studied the junior races because I was here for the elite races, and I was just watching one lap, and this French girl is not breathing. She's not. Everyone else is struggling on the cobbles, and the shoulders are going side to side, and out of the entire peloton. So then I was late for another meeting, but I got engrossed in it, and I had to watch another lap and another lap because I'm like, she's still not breathing. Every time the hammer goes down, and her teammates were doing everything that they possibly could. So yeah, it was really exciting.
About 2 hours from the end.
Pretty exciting race.
This is the now stretch as suddenly we see an acceleration by Marco Schrettel of Austria, who goes to the front and starts the pacemaking, and he's got rid of most of the Belgian riders with this acceleration. Jarno Wiedar is now isolated. That's good news for any of the other squads. Also up here is Lorenzo Finn, the Italian rider. The Slovenian rider Jakub Omrazel is here as well, number 29. Big move on the right-hand side as the Spanish rider makes his move. This is Hector Alvarez, who rides for the Lidl Trek Future Racing Team. And Rochelle, what we were starting to talk about has now happened, because Jarno Wiedar has gone from an entire team with him a few minutes ago to no riders at all. With
just over 60 kilometres to go.
Yeah.
So this is so many riders in that peloton just sitting in there. Belgium is doing all the work. So they didn't even, make the Italians contribute, who have a big favourite in Finn. So it was a big question. How is this race tactic going to work for Belgium? Now Finn is all alone, he's sitting on the front, he's driving it, but this is not a good thing.
No, it's not good news for Belgium. Suddenly this race has changed. Alvarez of Spain has gone clear with 61 kilometres to go. This rider is super, super talented. You cannot let him take any more of a distance, and Jarno Wiedar recognises that Alvarez is a rider you cannot give any sort of hope to. So Wiedar now starts to make the moves, because he has to be the rider to respond for the first time. We've only got about 15 riders in that front group. Suddenly the race has completely exploded.
So what's happened is Belgium have used their teammates to keep the pace really, really high throughout this race. However, there's been so many athletes that have just been sitting in and protected and conserving their energy. And all of a sudden, in that one split moment, there's no Belgium other than Wiedar who can cover that move. And that's okay at the final of the race, in the final couple of laps. But when you're 60 kilometres out from the finish, if Wiedar has to cover every move himself with no teammates, it's going to make it a very difficult situation for him.
There's going to be some big questions asked if Belgium don't get a medal here. So it's Hector Alvarez. Coming up is the Italian rider, and that is Pietro Matteo, who's been really strong today. Wiedar is not prepared to close the gap on what's happening, and suddenly the hopes of Belgium are looking very much different to what they were a few minutes ago. In fact, less than 10 minutes ago, they were firmly in control. Lorenzo Finn is the Italian rider who jumps across. Italy have got they've got at least 3 of their riders, if not 4, in this front group. This is impressive. At the end of this lap, 2.5 hours of racing have been completed. The riders are coming up with 4 laps to go. The leading rider is Alvarez in the blue of Spain, followed by Schrettel of Austria, with Italy just closing the gap with Lorenzo Finn. Across the line this time, and it is hardly any riders left. Alvarez with an average speed of 41.082 kilometres an hour. The speed goes up, and at the front of the race, there's not that many riders left. There's 14 riders at the front.
This is a really, that was an exciting moment of this race, a very decisive moment of this race. That it really does indicate to us that it may have been a mistake, the tactic of the Belgians, and did play into the hands of the other riders and the Italian team and all the other individual riders that have the potential of winning the gold medal here. So I think they have to really, if they do get back together, really recover and reassess their strategy and maybe just not sit on the front, rather than sitting on the front, cover these moves.
Well, Alvarez has been caught and has gone on the attack again with 59 kilometres to go. He does not want Widar and the other riders to get any reinforcements because he's decided to go up the road, and we've only got this small group that's been absolutely shredded behind, who are all looking around and wondering where their teammates are, where their reinforcements are, and Italy, I think, are playing their card. They've asked him for one rider to come up, Lorenzo Finn, and the Austrian rider goes to the front, Schrettel, but Italy have got, what, 3 riders in there? And they're playing the game of, let's make everybody else ride. Widar, to me, I don't know about you, Rochelle, but to me, he doesn't have the legs, because he's finding it hard to shut gaps.
Yeah, he should have been straight on to Alvarez's move because he knows he's a dangerous rider, but he didn't, or he couldn't, that's the question. Or he just hesitated, was relying on his teammates and then realised, hang on, I need to cover this one. I'm the only one that's strong enough of the team to cover this. And he struggled to do it. So Alvarez is, in my opinion, the peloton are going to start looking at each other, who's going to work. And when they someone goes to the front to pick up the pace, they're going to make sure it's hard for the rest of the riders. They're not going to just sit there and pull anymore. So we're going to have a real race on our hands here because there won't be any more formation. It'll just be like riders trying to take an opportunity to get on the wheel of Alvarez, but Alvarez is in his zone and these riders are going to hesitate and look at each other. So
it's a great opportunity for Alvarez. He's decided he does not want anyone else to come back. He wants to go on the attack. It's a long, long out. 59k to do that is impressive. But we've seen attacks already today that have gone to the finish. Not this far out, but still fairly far out, as Alessandro Borgo goes to the front, and on his wheel goes Jan Huber of Switzerland. Jarno Widar is playing chess right now, but every time there's an acceleration, to me, he does not have the snap in his legs anymore. Look how hard he's having to work to shut the last metre.
And that's the thing, when you come to a World Championship, you have a clear leader and you have to really put faith in that leader, and nobody can predict how the leader can feel on the day, not even before one moment before the race. It's not until you're actually in the race. So they did have a clear strategy, but if the lead rider for Belgium today being Widar, if he doesn't have the legs on the day, then you can have many different plans, and one may work, one may not. So obviously they realise at this point, okay, that wasn't the best tactic.
They're letting this group of riders come back. They're not too far behind. Widar closes the gap on the Italian rider who goes to the front. Here's the rundown of the chasing group of riders. Lollerg of France, Widar, Marti, Pericas, Kudulovic, Schrettel, Omrazel, Huber, Lopez. Ramirez of Ecuador has made it into this group as well, which is good news for Ecuador. There's not many riders, though, in that chasing group. Here's the big peloton coming, well, big, 20 riders maybe a little bit more in the chasing peloton, trying to make the junction to help out their teammates. And there's a lot of riders coming back. Here they are coming back. Soderquist is in here, so he's recovered a little bit. The USA are represented as well. Belgium have got riders in here in Aaron Docks. Sitting on the back of the group is Halvard Dolven. But if there's that sort of acceleration again on this lap, how many of these riders will come back into the race? The average speed is still over 41 kilometres an hour, and that's 7 kilometres of racing covered on today's Under-23 World Championship. The peloton at 29 seconds. Look at the size of the crowd here now. Alvarez is our solo leader. Now, we haven't got you here for too much longer. This rider from Spain, Hector Alvarez, he looks impressive on a bike, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's made a really good move. He only has a 25-second advantage, which means if he's not so strong on the climbs, he may be brought back. But he took a very, very good moment. And he was strong, he was fresh. But a long way out, as we see, only 25 seconds with 55 kilometres to go. It's a big task.
It is a massive task, but he's still got 25 seconds. Maybe riders might come up to him. We know he's an okay climber. He won the mountains classification in Giro del Regione Friuli. He won that back in September. He was also 6th overall in the general classification in that race. He's ridden Burgos, he's ridden the Tour of Austria. He's done well in a number of different disciplines and different races. 18 years of age, 3rd on a stage of the Tour of Austria this season. As we look down then and we come back to him, he rides for Lidl Trek Future Racing. I was saying earlier on that now the junior riders, that's the race that all the agents want to watch, isn't it? How many agents have you seen here this morning?
The sport has changed so much. I mean, with all the development, and you mentioned earlier that teams are signing riders for very long periods of 5 or 6 years now, which didn't happen in the past.
No.
And they're taking riders from a very young age and developing them, which I think is a great thing, because you stay in the same environment, you get the best out of yourself, you don't have to keep moving teams and, you know, learning how to work with new staff and all that type of thing. So, yeah, I think it's a great thing that these teams now are signing riders very young in the juniors, and then just they've got a steady base to develop their career over, the next 6 years.
And the agents are signing them at 16 years of age, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's also for the athlete. It's nice to know that you have that security of not having to find a new team or get the results. It takes that pressure away because you have that contract. You'll have your ups and downs, but yeah, there'll be a lot of scouting going on in the junior and the under-23s. It's always been the way in the under-23s, but now they're really closely looking at the juniors.
It's amazing. Soderquist has decided to go on the attack now. The world time trial champion, he's decided to try and go across to Hector Alvarez. He was dropped, and it's probably a good tactic for the heavier riders in this group and the more sort of sprinter time trial riders. Tactically, you have to think about how, like this rider here, Soderquist, how to make best use of the course, because he's not as quick as these punchy climbers on the hills, is he?
No, he's being a bigger rider, it does make it quite tough. It was interesting this morning. I was speaking with Pat McQuaid. He mentioned he can't believe Ed Madison didn't come to the World Championship.
Oh, really?
He thinks Mad Pedersen said that the course was too hard for him, more of a climber's course. I said that I think he could manage it if the distance was a little bit less.
Yeah. Because the men's race is what, 268k or something like that. It's a mammoth.
The amount of climbing accumulated over that amount of time is where they say, okay, it looks like it's a classic style riders race, a heavy classic styles race, but when you put that distance in there, then it becomes more of a kind of climber, smaller, skinnier type rider.
Yeah. Well, this group of riders coming across 25 seconds. And they're trying to close the gap on Alvarez. Has a little rest, shakes the legs a little bit, settles himself into this left-hander. And make his way onto the next climb. He's now reached Kigali Golf again, so he makes his way onto this rise. He'll reach the top at 51.2 kilometres of racing to go. This is the chase. Decomble of France, Scuffs, Pomorski, Dons and Söderqvist. And suddenly Belgium have a different situation with Jasper Scuffs going on the move now for Belgium. Decomble is there. Söderqvist can't go with the speed of the Belgian rider. This now puts the pressure back on other teams, doesn't it? Because Widar can sit in the wheels.
Yeah, I definitely think, looking back, I mean, they were very confident with their tactic, but maybe looking back, throwing out a few really, really big, strong attacks and putting pressure on other teams and riders to chase may have been a better tactic. But, you know, that this course and environment and climate makes this race so unique that it's very, very difficult to just have a set plan.
Suddenly, Alvarez is about to be caught. There's an advance party about to reach the back wheel of this rider from Spain, who's just working his way up this climb. So it looks like Jasper Scuffs is coming across.
He's pulling a big peloton with him. That's what they don't want to do. They want to put a bit of, when they use their effort, they don't want it to be protecting other riders and resting on the wheel. That's what the Belgians have done today with a lot of confidence. They've been pushing the wind the entire race until this point. From Alvarez, obviously out there now being caught.
Suddenly the Italians are going backwards. This is not good news, but they've left Lorenzo Finn up there. This rider in front from the USA. Cole Kessler is being dropped as well. Everyone is fighting for survival because suddenly the key riders are making their moves. Munoz is also dropped. For Slovenia, Radbar is dropped as well. Alvarez refuses right now to let everyone come back, and he goes on the attack again. Schrettel of Austria is the rider who's going to have to close it. Lorenzo Finn of Italy is a very clever bike rider. He follows wheels, he surfs, he looks, he just doesn't do any work at all, Lorenzo Finn, that he doesn't have to do. And that's experience of a junior world champion who won solo last year. He's clever, isn't he? Yeah,
we'll only see Finn move when an attack goes from a rider that he thinks the peloton are not going to bring back, and he's the only one strong enough to jump over to it.
He's doing well so far, and now he's isolated because the rest of his teammates aren't there. But Alvarez continues. He's some bike rider, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's made a very good decision or pre-race tactic to throw out that attack and just don't worry how close they come and yo-yo or who comes over, just ride. He's got a very clear ambition.
He's going to get some company now. Looks like Schrettel might get to him, the Austrian rider. So we'll end up with 2 riders at the head of the race and then a group of, what's that, 20 riders behind, with another little group trying to come across of another 6 riders.
The thing I really love about this circuit, we see the breakaways and all the team tactics and all that goes on, but this circuit, because the cobble climbs so close to the finish, it really does give the strongest rider in the race the opportunity to win. So even, you know, a lucky break that I hesitated, I didn't cover or something like that, it's this course design really does show you the strongest rider on the day. Every rider's fatigued, and it comes down to those last final laps where you see only the strongest that has managed the kilometres of this race, the distance of the race, and the day and the climate. We do get to see who is the strongest on the day on this circuit. It's not a circuit where you get a lucky winner.
Well, that's it does show who's the strongest, who's the world champion. Dolven is actually the rider from the helicopter shot. I thought it was the Austrian rider who'd gone across, but Halvor Dolven is the Norwegian. Now that we get up close, we're able to see Dolven, number 32 from Norway, has made his advance to get to Hector Alvarez. As we head towards the end of this lap, these 2 riders combining with just under 49 kilometres. 14 seconds to the chase. This race is far from over. How many more twists and turns are we going to have before we work out who the world champion is going to be? you get the sense, as Rochelle just said, that it is the strong riders who are now at the front. It's the ones who've got the legs, the ones who are feeling good. There's some riders hiding, playing, missing turns, following wheels when they have to.
Yeah, like some people may say, Alvarez made a lucky move, but nobody could. He didn't attack and he got caught, he got brought back, and he attacked again. And we saw riders were fighting to get across to his wheel, and only one's managed. So we are seeing on this particular circuit the strongest riders take the rainbow jerseys.
17 seconds, Alvarez goes to the front, onto the cobbles again. Top of the cobbles will be 46.4 kilometres from the finish. We'll then have the run into the line, 3 laps to go that time. And we've got a bit more of a swelling of numbers as we make our way to the cobbles, but the question is how many will make it to the top of the cobbles safely in the group. Cole Kessler at the back, wearing number 71 from the United States of America. Cole Kessler right on the back of the group, the American rider. This is Soderquist. Kessler, he also rides for Lidl Trek Future Racing, so his teammate is the rider from Spain who is out the front. This is the Austrian rider this time. This is Marco Schrettel, who's been good on the cobbles every time. And Poland in the ascendancy as well, as Alvarez kicks his way up this 10% gradient. Being dropped now is Aaron Dox, number 12 from Belgium. Can't see Jarno Wiedar for a little while. And being distanced also is the Slovenian rider, Rabbar, on the right-hand side. They've ridden a flat-out race, haven't they? They've not held back at all. It's just been full-on all day.
Yeah, it's been a very, very high speed, average speed here for the men's under-23 race. It's such a difficult circuit. We've seen the pace. It couldn't be any higher, you know. It's just been... Alvarez was the only one who could actually increase the pace of what the Belgians were setting, and no one was able to match him at that moment. But he's just in the zone now. He may be caught, but my opinion is he'll just keep trying and trying and trying. He's obviously very strong and feeling very good.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Here comes the Polish rider coming across. This might be Gudulovic, who's trying to get there.
He's just swung off and said, come on guys, give me a hand here. But nobody able to lift the pace.
Number 12 is dropped, Aaron Dox. We saw that a moment ago. He's still fighting to try and survive. A little group of riders coming across. One Italian rider in Lorenzo Finn, and as you said, Rochelle, Lorenzo Finn won't do any work until he feels like it's necessary, and now he feels like it's necessary because he's advancing at a very high rate. 4 riders coming across and none of them are Belgian.
Yeah, it's a good time for Finn to put his effort in to get across, because while he's hurting himself, he's also hurting the other riders. So if he was to do it on a smooth surface or a flat section, he'd be protecting the other riders. But doing it on the cobbles on a steep section, he's hurting the riders as much as he's hurting himself. So it's the best place to put his big effort in to try and close that gap to the 2 leading riders.
Good job by him. So it's Lorenzo Finn, the junior world champion of last year, who pedals his way across to Dolvin and Alvarez.
Well, these cobbles are extremely hard. I've been out there on the bike, and you can't accept the bike's vibrating, you can see there, but I've ridden a lot of cobbles, but trying to keep traction, obviously, on a very steep section. You won't see many riders out of the seat on the cobbles, but every single thing on your bike and your hands and your muscles and your skin and your eyeballs, everything's shaking, and it just takes so much out of the body, and it's such a relief to hit the smooth surface again. So Finn flicking the arm, just saying, come on, let's just get together now and pull this back so we're all back in the race for the gold medal. So Anthony, this final 500 metres is extremely, extremely tough. It kicks up, and you think the finish is there, but those 400, 300 and 200 metre signs, it takes so long for them to come up. But it's a climb. It's actually, it doesn't look like it, but it is a climb.
Yeah, it's a very hard finish. 6 riders in the lead now. Dolven, Alvarez, Finn, Gadulovic, Schrettel and Huber. The Ecuadorian rider trying to come across, Mateo Ramirez. And 2 Belgian riders struggling in here now. Vidal's face is showing that this is hurting a lot. 1 Australian rider in no man's land at the back. We come up and we've got 3 laps of racing to go this time. So it is Lorenzo Finn. It just pushes on the pace a little bit more. Can Finn double up and go back to back as he asks the riders to come through? 3 laps of racing to go as we approach 3 hours. The average speed 41.229, so it's speeded up considerably. They've added 0.2 of a kilometre an hour to the speed, and on that course, that's a lot. Coming across then, Ramirez, Porriquez, De Comble, Marti, also Bock, Schwarzbacher, also in there, Lareg. Not too many riders left. Söderqvist has kept himself in that group of riders. Through the feed. This time in the race, all about water, or is it electrolytes, or is it a mix, or is it carbs still? How do the riders decide with only 3 laps to go?
A lot of the hydration with electrolytes would have been started a few days ago. It was really, really important here to stay hydrated, but there will be no doubt that electrolytes are the #1 priority of hydration throughout this race. So they've got 2 feed zones on the circuit where the riders have an opportunity to take bottles. Finn there just asking for a little bit of help, and he actually looks, to me, he looks very fresh and good.
He does, doesn't he?
He does.
You look at the other riders in here, and there's some faces being pulled. He looks so in control.
I tell you what, the Belgians will be so disappointed that they're not in that group, and they found themselves all over the place. I had an opportunity to have a quick chat at breakfast with Ton van Dam, who is the president of Belgian cycling, and he was quite confident they were going to win the gold medal here in the under-23 men's race today. However, at this point, it looks like they're out of the game.
Well, at the moment, they are out of the game, but I just wonder about that tactic. We've talked about it a lot. It just looked like it was using up all your matches very, very early. And if they'd waited and let the other teams take control, the likes of Tim Rex, who did such a massive day on the front. If he had legs like that today, to be able to do that much work on the front, in the final of this race, if they'd kept him, would he have had the legs to right now be at the front with a couple of riders?
That's a big question, Anthony, because what he did was phenomenal.
Yeah.
To be pulling that high pace on the front for 100 kilometres here is unbelievable. So it is he could have been the strongest in the race. They used him up as a teammate.
Well, you have to make a call. The team managers have to make a call, and clearly they decided that all eyes were on one rider and one rider only. Tactically, hasn't worked yet, but they could still rescue it. They've still got riders in the chase group as Lorenzo Finn goes into the aero tuck and says to Alvarez, come through and work. Schrettel is there. They're fully committed. Also in this group is Jan Huber of Switzerland. Behind him is number 23, Gadulovic. And then it's the Norwegian rider, Dolven. Where's number 32 in that red jersey with a big blue stripe across the back? Lorenzo Finn goes into the back position, takes another drink. He has been drinking constantly in this race, pouring water over his head, taking a drink, keeping himself really hydrated. In comparison to everybody else, it's been more noticeable than anyone.
It shows me that he has the energy to do that, because a lot of riders are not doing that just simply because they're too fatigued. And he looks comfortable, the Italian Finn. He'll be very happy that he hasn't got Weeder there to contend with. It will give him a confidence boost. He will just hope that these riders all know that their opportunity for a medal at this World Championships is now. Let's keep the pace high, and they seem to be all working well together.
So Schrettel tucks in on the back. He's got quite an unusual style on a bike, Schrettel. He did ride for Trinity Racing back in 2022. He now rides for Tyrrell KTM. This is Belgium trying to rescue this race. Camille Eamon behind him. He's got number 15, Jasper Skufs, and then Jarno Uida, their favourite. And they are burying themselves to try and bring this race back together. They have had 20 kilometres of a barrage of attacks from other riders once they sensed that maybe Belgium weren't as strong as everybody thought they were in the early stages. France still have 2 riders in there, in De Comble and Lulurg. Heading our way down towards Kigali Gulf. We're going to hit there in about 5 kilometres. 4 kilometres now to Kigali Gulf. And then we set ourselves up for the 2 climbs yet again. But everybody's contributing here, Rochelle. Totally different squads. Everyone knows there's medals at hand, and everybody is fully into this breakaway now.
Yeah, I think these riders will give everything that they've got, because if they sit up, then the dynamics of this race completely change again. But this is an opportunity for every one of these riders to potentially win a medal at the World Championships, so all willing to put in the hard work. Well, that's calling it a day.
He's gone. It's game over for number 13, Camille Eamon. He's finished. He is absolutely exhausted. If Belgium don't get back to the front, you can't fault Tim Rex, Camille Eamon, and the workers in that squad. They have done everything they can. So there's our group. We cast our eyes back, and there's the chase. It looks a lot now on that descent, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's difficult to make up time on the descent because they'll both be doing the same type of speeds, front group and the chase group. Oh, this is a big effort. Oh, the Swiss rider, really everything he's got.
He is, because these 3 riders are going away, the 3 strongest riders in the break. Lorenzo Finn has decided time to change the game. Do you get the feeling this Italian rider's fully in control of everything that happens at the front of this bike race?
Yeah, I think, he would have got a massive confidence boost from the tactics of the Belgium team, because that was really a card that was played into the hands of the Italian team, and he would have a massive confidence boost from that. And the way it's played out now, I think mentally he'll feel like, when we get to 30 kilometres to go, we call that in a long race, road race, that's the business end of the bike race. With 30 kilometres to go now, they've got 38 kilometres to go, and he's decided, right, now it's time to make this race.
And he's with the 2 strongest riders, clearly. I don't know about the Norwegian. To me, he seems like he might be just hiding a little bit. But the 3 at the front seem to just have that effort, that pace. And every time the road goes uphill, they're at the front, 52 kilometres an hour. Alvarez is the rider who takes that corner first. We head towards Kigali Gulf this time. This is the fast section, 64 kilometres an hour. The chase is now at 30 seconds, so they're not coming back at all. They come up to the boards, they're able to see, and in the background there is no sign of any riders.
You just saw Finn, he just took a look, and he knows that this is the group, this is the move. One interesting about the World Championships here, when we talk about the race tactics of this team and the race tactics of Belgium, is that at the World Championships they don't have race radio communication. So if the team director had identified that they were making a mistake and wanted them to change tactics earlier, it wouldn't be possible to get that information to the riders, and they're used to racing with race radios. But being at the World Championships, they eliminate that to make it a more fair race, a more exciting race. They eliminate the race radio, so it's not so scientifically guided by a race team director back in the race car, and riders have to make decisions for themselves. And that's a timing board there, just to let them know they have a 25-second advantage on the chasers.
The fact they don't have race radios, we've seen in the past, haven't we, sports directors in the pits with boards and things trying to give bits of information. But there's no way of them saying, come back to the team car, talk to me, I need to give you some information. It's all left to the rider's own devices, isn't it? And I wonder whether Belgium would have changed their tactic at some point.
Yeah, I think many years ago, having people from your team placed around the circuit with boards of communication was a really big thing that might have been overlooked on this circuit. Could have been very helpful.
Yeah, could have been.
It's just a matter of whether the riders would have the energy or focus to catch what's on that board. It's quite hard to find a place on this course where you can actually get an opportunity to read something on the side of the road under so much pressure all the time in every single part of this circuit. Yeah, Finn looks very composed, doesn't he?
It does. There's only 3 more climbs of this to go. This is one of them. 14% its gradient. Trettel is the rider on the front. He's won the All Nations Grand Prix. He's had a number of different places. He was 3rd on a stage of the Tour de l'Avenir. What happened there?
I think chain drop or...
No, he's finished. He's done. He's completely exhausted. Belgium have no riders left. This is Jasper Skups. He's done what he can, and he's all over the place. The Norwegian has given us the answer. He's not hiding. He just doesn't have the legs. So Dolvin looks around. Also being dropped is Gadulovic, and Lorenzo Finn has decided, right, let's make everyone hurt again. He's doing this at will. He is the rider with the script of today. He's the rider who is deciding every single move in this bike race now. It's very, very impressive to watch. Gadulovic has gone. Finn presses on. He's got 3 riders with him. In Schrettel, the Swiss rider Huber, and Alvarez is there again. Here's the chase, if there is a chase, 38 seconds, and it is totally now down to Jarno Widar to do everything he can to bring this back, because no one of the rider is going to help him. They're going to use him up, Rochelle, until he drops as well. Unfortunately, Belgium have laid this out as that's the plan.
I think Widar's best opportunity is to put his maximum effort in on the climbs. On this lap, they have still the cobble climb coming into the finish where he could really try to close his gap, but I'm just really not sure, Anthony, if he has the legs today to do that. If the riders in the lead in the breakaway work well together, it'll be a very hard task.
There's one more rider going to come back. Gadulovic is fighting and trying to come back. Look at the gap, you can see. This bike race is all about the front now. 47 seconds to the group of the strongest riders in this under-23 World Championships. Gadulovic is coming across the entire group. Look at the 2 Spanish riders sitting behind Jarno Widar, just looking around thinking, well, keep on going, because we're just going to sit here now.
That's frustrating for Widar, because in fact I think there should be a contribution from the other nations to pull this back, because if they don't, I don't think it's possible for Widar. We can see that the lead is actually going out further and further, a second here and there.
Alvarez is working. So Spain won't chase, but there's a number of other nations in that chasing group who could. France in particular, they've got 2 riders. They could maybe decide to sacrifice a rider, but I would imagine they're just thinking, let Widar burn himself out and then we'll decide what to do. Lorenzo Finn swings his way back onto the group of riders. Yeah. Italy have done a great job today.
Finn was making a point, I think, to the lead riders that are with him, that I'm not going to do everything here. We have to, if you want to be in a medal chance, we all have to contribute. And again, he's taking a gel, so he's really still in control
Just taking his time, deciding what happens next. Gadulovic is at the back. He's not able to work. Lorenzo Finn in that aero tuck. Gadulovic pours water over his back to try and cool himself down a little bit. Finn is just having to close the gap on the 3 riders in front who are riding pretty hard.
Well, he let that gap go because he wanted to say to every single rider, everyone has to contribute here, you're not going to sit on. But then he realised there was one rider that's not going to contribute, and that gap happened. And unfortunately, he has to do the work now just to close that gap.
In the chasing group, Max Bock of Germany, De Comble of France, Leroux of France, Widar of Belgium, Marti and Perikas of Spain, Ombrzel of Slovenia, Donza of Switzerland, Lopez is in there for Portugal, Ramirez is in there as well, Schwarzbacher and Bravo of Brazil. That's the chasing group of riders. Coming round then to complete another lap. We're almost at the end of this lap and we'll have 2 laps to go. We're at 74 kilometres an hour as we make our way down this descent to complete this lap, and then we rise uphill, of course, on the cobbled section. We're nearly there now. We're about 400 metres from the cobbles. Finn is back at the front, and as we expected, France have decided that maybe they should put one rider on the front and ride for the other. De Comble is the rider they look like they're going to bank everything on.
So what I really love about this World Championships is the no race radios, where the riders do have to communicate directly to each other about how they're feeling and anticipate the race themselves, rather than getting feedback and instructions from the team car. However, if new viewers are wondering what is under the saddle of every single rider, they have a communication device which is for safety reasons. The UCI have a control centre where they get every single piece of information of every rider, and if there is a safety issue, they can relay that to the team director, and then it's a matter of getting that information to the rider. But it's a purely safety device, but it gives a lot of information to the UCI's control centre, which can be conveyed to the team director.
And that control centre is situated to our left-hand side, a load of people in there. 47 seconds as Lorenzo Finn stamps his way up the cobbles now. France come on to the next cobbled section, and as you said, Rochelle, the only way that Widar is going to come into the race is to go on the move on the cobbles, and that's what Widar has decided to do. So he's tried to save a little bit of energy. 44 seconds is the gap, and suddenly Widar is the rider who is trying to close this quickly.
Since Widar hit the cobbles, he's taken 2 seconds out of that lead group. So let's see at the top of this cobbled section how many seconds he's been able to gain on the leaders.
Well, look at this. Lorenzo Finn has decided he's going clear. Finn has attacked on the cobbles. 32 kilometres to go. Well, he goes clear. What a ride this is.
He goes clear, but he's only made an advantage of 3 seconds on the lead group.
So he pedals his way up towards the top of this section now. Counter-attack from Switzerland, number 36. This is Huber. Trying to go. This is this little flat section, isn't it? And then it kicks up again.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it flat. It doesn't feel on the cobbles being so bumpy, and you know your legs are full of lactic acid. Well, this might be the winning move of the World Championships for the under-23 men.
He's just riding away, Lorenzo Finn. He's getting chased a little bit by Huber of Switzerland. Suddenly Alvarez isn't able to go with the moves. Gadulovic can't either. They're all sitting on. Jano Widar with a Spanish team sitting behind. Do they now contribute? Because they don't know whether Alvarez is there or not. So it's Lorenzo Finn, the solo leader of this World Championship for Italy. Behind him, Huber is fighting his way onto the wheel of the fast-moving Italian, which could be good news for the Italian, because he would be able to use him and help and work with him on the next lap of racing. It's a long, long way out.
Such a tough circuit, such a long race that we're now seeing. Finn clearly the strongest in the bike race. one rider from Switzerland able to match him on the cobble climbs. 33 kilometres to go in this bike race. When they get to the top of this cobble climb, that means 4 more climbs. We know Finn's he looks like he's the strongest on the climbs. He's just going to have to ride now as hard as he can right to the finish and hope that he gets there alone.
Alvarez over the top with Gudulovic and Schrettel. Now they need to chase. 1 kilometre to go to the end of this lap. The gap is 13 seconds that Finn and Huber have made. Then behind it is the group of Guida. It will be interesting to see whether he's made any inroads to the move of the Italian Lorenzo Finn. The Italians just sat with the remote control for the entire first 70 or 80 kilometres, maybe even longer than that, until they decided to start to rip this race up. Here they come, and Guida has done everything he can, and look at him on the left-hand side.
He's in trouble.
You have to feel for this Belgian now. He doesn't have the legs. He's in all sorts of pain. He fights his way onto the back of the group. As they make the top, these riders are already coming to the finish line. Finn looks around. Huber shakes his head a little bit. 58 seconds. The gap's gone out, Rochelle.
Yeah,
it was 43.
I think these two riders are going to go for the gold and silver. I think Finn's going to be hard to beat, but he's not going to get a lot of help. So he's going to have to, with 4 climbs left, he's going to have to drop the Swiss rider. And I think he's capable of it. He looks composed.
Finn and Huber are the 2 leaders of this World Championship as they make their way round to complete this lap with 2 laps of racing to go. They go across the line. The average speed now has gone up again, 41.464 kilometres an hour. Here's the chase with Schrettel, with Alvarez and Gudulovic. They go across the line at 15 seconds. And then Jarno Guida and the rest of the group, led by France and Ecuador, are making their way up here now, and the gap is going to be about a minute with 2 laps of racing remaining. Here they come. The boards are being banged, the crowd are expectant. 2 laps to go after 3 hours and 14 minutes of racing. And everything that's been done by Belgium today, unfortunately, has crumbled away. France now are trying to rescue the medals. 53 seconds is the advantage with 2 laps to go. Coming up to a minute now, and it is going to be over a minute. It was 43, and Guida is hanging on for dear life at the back. They go past the commentary box, and the hopes of Belgium have crumbled. 2 laps to go. Rochelle, just to say thank you to you. Thanks for joining us for the last, hour and a half or so. It's been great to hear your comments, and we'll see you tomorrow for the women's race.
Thank you, Anthony. It's been an absolute pleasure, and now I have some obligations, but I don't want to take my eyes off this bike race. But I'll have to leave you, and I'll have to watch the replay of the finish of this race, because it's, in my opinion, Finn looks really, really good. Huber is doing exactly what Finn needs him to do. Just contribute a bit on the flat, on the smooth surface, and I'll give it all. I've got it on the climbs. If you can match me, good on you, buddy. So, yeah, thank you, Anthony. It's been a pleasure, and we'll be back for the women's racing tomorrow.
2 leaders. Thanks, Rochelle. This race is on now. 105 is the gap to the big chase. 20 seconds to these 3 chasers. Well, Alvarez was the rider who started to make the moves first. He's still in with a chance of the medals as we see this rider from Brazil come back. This is Henrique Ribeiro Bravo. He's still in with a chance of the medals here for Brazil. Doing a great ride today. It's flat out on this section of the course. 2 laps to go. Guida on the back. Cars coming up now. Looks like some of the team cars coming up to have a little chance to have a chat. The first chance on this part of the course to actually have a conversation. And it's the team car of Spain. On the front of the race, Lorenzo Finn, the Italian rider. Well, he's Italian-British, isn't he? His dad is from Sheffield and his mum is from Italy. He has been the rider who's decided how this race plays out. It's very rare to see a rider so young in so much control. He's been able to just decide, let's make a move here, let's make a move there, let's see how things develop. There's the timeline of what's going on behind these two leaders. At the moment, going for the medals, Alvarez, Gadulovic and Schrettel. They've still got a chance of catching these two leaders if they keep pushing on. Gadulovic hasn't given up. They can still see them in front of them. Can they close the gap? But the big story is back here and this chase, as everybody looks at Jarno Wieder, and Belgium maybe gave the indication that they had total faith in winning this race today, because everybody else is watching the Belgian rider. Sometimes tactics work, sometimes they just don't work out. Riders are human, they're not able to do everything you want them to do. Lorenzo Finn rides for the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies. He's with Jan Huber. Huber is a Swiss rider. 11th in the Tour de l'Avenir. He is no slouch when it comes to bike racing. It's not a surprise that he's up here. Tour de l'Avenir of 2025, he was behind Paul Sexas, Jarno Wieder, Jordan Norgan, Lorenzo Finn, Maxime de Comble, Pablo Torres. Jan Huber was 11th overall, behind some incredible competition in that Tour de l'Avenir. Can they continue to work together? 19 seconds. Gadulovic trying everything he can get to get himself back to the front. What a bike race this has been. Well, back in this group, we can see him, Enrique Bravo. He's riding superbly, isn't he? He joined the Soudal Quick-Step team at the beginning of the season. Of course, he comes from a football region where it's all about soccer. Comes from Nova Lima, lies 500 kilometers from the Atlantic Ocean. He rode mountain biking in his career. He's a good climber, the young Brazilian, and he's doing well here. He now spends his time living in Girona, where so many other bike riders do. But he's doing Brazil proud this afternoon. If you've just joined us now, this is the race situation. Jan Huber in the red and white, Lorenzo Finn in the colours of Italy. Can he bring home back-to-back wins for Italy in World Championships? He was the junior world champion last year in Zurich. You may remember he rode that one superbly as well. Here's the rundown of Jan Huber, 20 years of age. This is a big moment for this Swiss rider. We've seen him develop. We've seen him having third places in his national championships. The Tour de l'Avenir potentially was the turning point for Jan Huber in his career so far. Before that, he was a progressing and developing bike rider. But here, being at the front of a world championship at this point in the race is a big move for this rider. Swiss cycling is starting to again produce some fantastic bike riders. Mark Hirschi was the winner here in 2018. 2.7 kilometres of racing to go. We're about 900 metres from the base of Kigali Golf for the penultimate time. In the chasing group of riders, we've got Maxime de Comble, Adria Poricas, Pablo Ramirez, Robin Donza, Victor Laruga, Max Bock, Pau Marti. We've got Jacomon Razel, Halva Dolven, Lucas Lopez, and we've got Jana Widar. Also in that group now, Enrique Ribeiro Bravo. Well, if you've been with me all day, thank you very much for joining me. It's been a long day of bike racing. We've had two exceptional bike races today, and this one is just boiling to its conclusion. On to the climb of Kigali then. Can these riders close this gap at all? They're so close, they can still kind of see the riders in front of them. But now Lorenzo Finn is pedalling his way up this climb, and he's doing what he did last year. It's almost a mirror of what happened in the junior road race last year. He was with one rider, he attacked them and left them behind. He went on to solo to victory. Look at Jan Huber's face. It's hurting a lot, but he's doing everything he can to stay there. He dreams of a medal here for Switzerland. Finn glances across. We're coming up towards the bell soon. We're going to get to the base of the cobbled climb at 17.5 kilometres to go. The chasing group of riders are now at 1:26. Speed is still up over 41 kilometres an hour. That's where things are going on. That's the leading group and the chasers out on the course. Italy have got a good record in these World Championships, this under-23 race. Panoncini winning in 21, Battistella winning in 19. This would give Italy a massive morale boost ahead of the weekend. They've got big hopes tomorrow in the women's race. They've got big hopes on Sunday. Downhill for Huber into that turn. Finn in second place. We come up now.
But looking pretty stable and strong right now is Jan
to the
Huber.
final cobbles before we head towards the bell. Finn goes to the front, presses on a little bit more. He seems to know exactly on the course where to make the difference, where to have the advantage over everybody else. Dulovic is still doing a lot of work for Poland. He has done his country proud this afternoon. It's exceptionally warm now. It really is a lot hotter than it was when this race started. It's intense here in Kigali now. Fantastic racing roads though. Everyone knows just what the surface has been like. It's been stunning. But the cobbles are the bone shakers, the horrible bit of this race. So it's Lorenzo Finn, Jan Huber, being chased by Hector Alvarez, Gadulovic and Schrettel. Those are the three chasers. Behind a group of 12 riders who are now at 1 minute 36. 70 kilometers an hour into the aero tuck, downhill towards the bottom of Kimihurura for the penultimate time. There's a chance to see the group led by France.
Iki rero ni igikundi cya gatatu barimo gusiga umunota n'amasegonda 39 hafi 40. Bigaragara ko cyasigaye nibwo kigera ngaha rero kuri
Finn just with a couple of bike lengths on this descent. Lorenzo Finn, who was at school in Genoa, he's from Liguria. Onto the cobbles now for the penultimate time. What is the scenario going to be on here? Finn starts to really push the pace. He attacked here on a couple of occasions. At 39 kilometers he attacked here at 32 on these cobbles last time. He has exploded this race. Now he starts to really ramp up the tempo as he pedals his way. Look at Huber. He's just concentrating on that back wheel as though everything in life depends on staying on that little piece of rubber that's in front of him. Mentally, Huber is so strong, you can tell that. It's pure concentration. Schrettel, the shoulders going left and right. Huber's shoulders. But he's exhausted, but he's still there. The Swiss rider is having an immense day. Lorenzo Finn checks under his arms there to see whether there's still a wheel. It's there, but it's about a metre away as Huber fights his way back on. Pained legs, lungs burning, heart rate very, very high. The helicopter shot shows you a rider who's in control and a rider who dreams of at least getting a medal in this World Championship. Finn knows he could do with a rider. Well, this rider has been a rider of the day. Hector Alvarez is now distanced. It is Schrettel and Gadulovic who go forward. Finn now onto a little bit of respite. Huber. Finn looks around. He wants some company. You get that sense. Number 36, Huber. In their aero speed suits. You cannot imagine how much this is hurting Huber right now. This is like absolute the worst feeling you can have. You're in a world of hurt, a very dark place, and yet you know if you can just stay there and let your body do what you don't expect your body can do, then you might win a world championship. He can still win the gold medal here, Huber. Finn checks again over his shoulder. He knows he's still there. The Shimano neutral service car looking after these two riders behind them. 220 metres of painful cobbles remain. Then they go across the top. Then it's about the run to the bell. It's amazing what the mind can make the body do. Huber has made it to the top of the cobbles. He's absolutely on his limit staying with the Italian. There are only two major climbs left in this World Championship. The riders are heading to the bell. We're at 20 to 4 in the afternoon. We've had a massive day of bike racing here in Kigali. Schrettel wants to get rid of Alvarez, who is still fighting in the background. They're over the top of the cobbles now. They head their way now towards the bell. These two riders have been together now for 17 kilometres as they make their way to the conclusion of the penultimate lap. In about 20 minutes' time, we're going to know who's the world champion at under 23. Switzerland and Italy are the two teams that have done the job to be at the front. Lorenzo Finn and Jan Huber. Fantastic bike racing. 1 lap to go. They get the bell. That is a welcome sound, I'm sure. Let's see what the gaps are going to be. The average speed now has gone up even more. 41.563 kilometres an hour. Since Finn attacked, the average speed has just gone up. Schrettel and Gadulovic, they're going to be around about 40 seconds behind at this point in the race. One lap of racing for the two chasers. The gap is immense now, 49 seconds it is. Now Huber contributes, goes to the front. This is why Finn wanted him here. If Huber wins this, it would be incredible for Switzerland. But you get the sense right now that Finn is in control. He's decided every single move. He's decided whether he needs a rider with him or not. And that's not to outdo Huber. Just Finn seems to understand the game. Alvarez is trying to put himself back in a chance of getting a medal here. He's not far behind. He's just left wanting on those climbs. And here is a very tired group of riders. They're racing for the top 10 in the world. And no longer there is a Belgian rider in this group. Jarno Wiedar is gone. So the race situation now, Lorenzo Finn of Italy, Jan Huber of Switzerland joined together. Behind them, Gudulovic of Poland, Schrettel of Austria, Alvarez now of Spain, and then behind them it is a group that has completely changed. It is Marti of Spain, Donza of Switzerland, Pariquez of Spain, Ramirez of Ecuador, Lulag of France, Bock of Germany, De Comble of France, Lopez of Portugal. There are 13 riders really in this bike race. Finn wants Huber to come through. Look at the look on the Italian's face. The sweat pouring off Huber. .157 is now the advantage to the peloton. Surely it's about these two riders. Fast downhill now, it's nearly 70k an hour. Here's a look on the faces of the chasers. The gap back and getting a little bit of instruction now. And a very tired and disappointed Jarno Wiedar.
For them, they powerhoused their way through the first portions of it.
Jarno Wiedar crosses the line now with a huge gap back from the front. 4 minutes 56. Well, you cannot fault Belgium for trying. They went out early, they rode on the front, they used all their troops, and then Italy and Spain took them on. And they have been the team, in particular the Italians, who have shown tactically how to win this race. The question is, can Finn now finish it off? Can Huber hang in there and win the sprint? We're 4 kilometres from the bottom of Kigali Gulf. Massive crowds. 10 deep at times in the barriers. Finn keeps telling Huber, stay at the front, do some work, keep things going. He's the one who is dictating everything. Yet again, another drink, another bottle, more water. Gets rid of that one. Comes into this turn, just eases his way through. Aerodynamic with the pedals at the right position. Huber on the front, looks around. He wants the Italian to do some work. He needs to start to get a bit cute now as to how he wins this bike race, because they don't know what the gap is. 44 seconds should be sufficient for these two riders to go all the way to the line. But if they start to mess around or things go wrong, these 3 riders will come back into the game. Gudulovic in the red and white at the front. We go back to the Italian in the blue. He wants Huber to go through. Lorenzo Finn talking English to Huber. This is the time in the race where he's really forcing everything. The gap now is shown to them. They'll know they've got 43 seconds. And Finn knows, take him with me and let's work together. They both deserve silver and gold. It just depends which one gets the rainbow bands. They have been the animators of the race. They deserve to go to the finish together and fight it out. Both of them deserve the gold and silver medal. But sport's not like that, is it? Well, Switzerland have had success in this race before. The last medalist for Switzerland was Stefan Bissiger in 2019. The year before, Mark Hirschi took the title. Before that, Switzerland hadn't really been that successful in the under-23 championship. And now Huber is saying back to Finn, and which he should do, don't keep fighting at me, you do some work. It's a mind game going on between these two riders right now. Finn wants Huber to do more work. He wants to tire him out. He knows he's tired. Huber knows potentially I can hang on to this guy and I can beat him at the finish line. So it's not a done deal for either of these riders. So there's still a game being played. Bike racing is all about knowing how much energy you've got, how you use it, and how you use everything to the best effect. Here's our chasers. What a bike race we've had today. Can they come back? They're still only 43 seconds behind. So if these two falter, play a game, mess around, then they can come back in. .144 is the gap to the peloton. So the peloton is not in the game anymore. Huber says to Finn, do some work, and now this is a bad moment. This is a moment where this race could be lost. They need to keep working. Enough of the games, enough of falling out. You're at the front of a world title. And if they start to mess around, the three chasers can come back into this bike race. Alvarez, Gudulovic and Schrettel are still behind, and they're not far behind. They cannot afford to throw away this World Championship, having done everything right. On to Kigali Golf. They need to sprint up this one. And Lorenzo Finn starts the acceleration, and now he wants to go away. Huber fighting for all he is worth. Finn now puts in the hammer blow, and the Italian starts to ride away. A massive acceleration of Lorenzo Finn, exactly what he did last year in the Junior World Championship. He knows how to play the game of bike racing, and he does it to incredible effect. Finn goes. Huber hangs on now to just try and fight his way to the top of Kigali Golf. Lorenzo Finn in the Maglia Azzurra of Italy is in the ascendancy in this under-23 World Championship. This rider has basically this morning written the script of how this race should go, and he has demolished the opposition. Lorenzo Finn is almost at the top of Kigali Golf. Now we see him grimace for one of the first times. Huber is in a world of pain, a world of hurt, and potentially He may well lose a medal. Switzerland urge him to the top of this climb. It's 9 seconds. Schrettel of Austria goes on the attack. Big move of the Austrian. He now is going to try and fight for the bronze medal. Alvarez and Gudulovic are a little bit nailed to the road right now. Lorenzo Finn rides for the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe rookies, the feeder team of the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe team. He goes over the top of the climb, settles himself in. Huber refuses to give in as he hauls his way to get some relief from the gradient. Turns left now and goes for the silver medal at least. Hector Alvarez. He's been one of the main animators of this race. You have to admire the way he's ridden. 5.5 kilometres of racing now to go. This is our third rider on the road. If you're just joining us now, Lorenzo Finn of Italy is first on the road. Huber of Switzerland is second. Schrettel of Austria is third. And now this rider goes into time trial mode. 5.5 kilometres to go. He starts to feel the intense pain of an incredible effort. Tongue is out. He's all out right now. "16 seconds. Schrettel is 40 seconds behind in the fight for this silver medal. You can see the salt on the backs of these riders. Lorenzo Finn. At this intensity, it's easy to make a mistake. He looks across. 4.8 kilometres of racing to go. There's the timeline. The peloton is way, way behind. Now he gets into the mode to go to the bottom of the final climb of this race. The cobbles await. He's going to have good eyesight to see that time board. Coming in there at 70k an hour and the board is on the corner. Lorenzo Finn now. This is that acceleration where he just went away. He went 21 kilometres solo last year. The Italians are already celebrating. Into Aerotuck, 3.5 kilometres to go. He'll reach the bottom of the final cobbled section with 1.1 kilometres of racing remaining. Then it's about a full-out effort to the top of the cobbles. Once he gets there, he'll be safe. 20 seconds to Huber now. This rider in this 164.6 kilometres of racing has never faltered. His team have been incredible. In particular, Pietro Matteo has been one key rider in this amazing ride of Lorenzo Finn. Alessandro Borgo and Simone Gualdi were incredible too. What a lineup the Italians brought to this race. 3 kilometres to go now for the rider in the silver medal position. He still holds on to potentially giving Switzerland the silver this afternoon. Lorenzo Finn now turns the corner, gets ready, settles himself and goes onto the cobbles for the very final time. Looks ahead, 11%, this awful gradient at the bottom. His teeth will be chattering together. He'll feel every single little bit of pain with even more intensity. Huber is still there, 21 seconds. He hasn't totally cracked. That's impressive, because it would be very, very easy to do so. Huber still pushing. Those shoulders are still there. He hasn't lost it completely. He's still only 24 seconds behind. Schrettel is at 109. The chase is at 118. Huber still has some power in those legs. The top of this climb is at 1.1. He's got 1 kilometre of painful cobbles to go. Schrettel now makes his way onto the cobbled section. The bronze medal beckons for Austria. Gadulovic and Alvarez are still behind. They're only 8 seconds behind this rider. I hope you've enjoyed this race. What a race it's been. So much to absorb, so much to talk about. Lorenzo Finn, what a bike rider this young guy is. This is the under-23 World Championships we're watching. This rider is 18 years of age. He is the youngest rider in this bike race. Are we watching the next generational talent of bike racing globally? Because this rider is the youngest rider in this bike race. This is the under-23 World Championship. This 18-year-old is destroying the opposition. Schrettel hanging on right now, still for bronze. The 2 riders behind believe that it's possible. Finn can see the top. The final stretch of cobbles. It looks like a Belgian classic as we make our way here in Africa to the top of the final rise here in Kigali. Lorenzo Finn's head moving side to side. Huber is 31 seconds behind. He still holds 41 seconds, or 44 seconds actually, on the chase in terms of the silver medal. He checks over his shoulder. He goes now to the 1 kilometre to go point. Lorenzo Finn has produced the ride of the day. Huber is almost at the top. This rider deserves a medal, there is no doubt. He's hung on so valiantly to the wheel of Lorenzo Finn today. Finn has been an immense talent. The thumbs are up. He checks behind. He went on the attack with 39 kilometres to go. He was joined after another attack by Huber at 32 kilometres to go. 500 metres now remain. What a day for Sheffield, because this morning Sheffield took a world title. This afternoon, Lorenzo Finn's dad's from Sheffield. He's an Italian rider from Genoa. His mum is Italian. Last year, he was the junior world champion. This year, he comes into the under-23 World Championship as the youngest rider and basically destroys all of the best under-23 riders in the world. The top of the climb arrives. This has been the most incredible ride by the youngest rider in the bike race. It was like he wrote the script. It was like he had a remote control, because he made every single move. And when he made a move, every single move was perfection. What a talent, what a ride. Grande Lorenzo, the world champion, is the youngest rider in the bike race. He goes back to back. Take a bow. Lorenzo Finn, world champion, 2 years running, junior under-23. Here comes the silver medalist, Jan Huber. An incredible performance by this Swiss rider today. He did everything he could. He gives Switzerland the silver medal. Behind him there's going to be a chase for the bronze. But this rider deserves everything he's got today. What a valiant effort. Second place for Huber. Take a bow. That was very special. It looks like it's going to be a bronze medal for the Austrian rider. He's been involved in all the action today. Marco Schrettel is going to give Austria, by the looks of things, the bronze in what has been the most incredible race. It all comes down to whether you have the legs on this course in Kigali. You have nowhere to hide. Bronze medal to Austria. Marco Schrettel is on the podium. Alvarez coming up now. He's the second youngest rider in the race.
And let's give them a big round of applause as they come in for fourth place.
Alvarez just out of the medals in fourth place. He's only 7 days older than Lorenzo Finn. Radulovic in fifth. Have we just seen the next generational talent in bike racing? Because to do that is something incredible. Now they sprint for the line, looking for the minor places. France and Spain sprinting for the finish. Sixth place is going to be Spain, crossing the line to take the position.
Let's go meet everyone.
It was Pau Marti ahead of Victor Lelog.
We will have the award ceremonies. And you can just see Lorenzo Martin, he is waiting for his teammates. He knows that.
He's just looking to see where his first teammates are. I think there'll be a few minutes. There's no one anywhere close to him.
By him today. Junior world champion last year, U23, first year. He is once again the Giant del Mondo. Prima questo scegliere il podium, scegliere il stage, abbiamo ricominciare Obutanga.
So in control.
For the awarding ceremony, and we are having DJ Ihere right after the awarding ceremony.
Emotional moment for the Italians. He's still waiting for his teammates. He might have to wait a little while because they are a long, long way back. They're about 7 minutes down the road. Borgo, Gualdi and Matteo. The average speed 41.592. Here's the result of the men's under-23 road race. Lorenzo Finn wins in 3 hours 57 minutes and 27 seconds. He beats Jan Huber by 31 seconds. Marco Schrettel in third place. Switzerland with 2 riders in the top 10, 3 riders from Spain in the top 10. And Ecuador get 1 rider there with Matteo Pablo Ramirez.
Lorenzo Finn, 1 year after winning the junior title, you win the under-23 one. What does this one mean for you?
Oh, it's exactly 1 year, 26. Wow, it's just it's like last year. It's just unreal. Like, just the crowds here. There was the last 500 meters. My ears were hurting because there were so many people, like also cheering me on from different nations. The people here in Kigali are fantastic. Like, it's been a wonderful week. Like, obviously the result, but I remember it for the rest of my life. It's just an experience of life.
Talk to us how you did it, because you took off from far out. That was the plan?
Well, we wanted to see what Belgium wanted to do at the start of the race, and they kept it pretty controlled for the first half. So we tried to save some energy, and then it was just like all hails break loose. It was just attacks everywhere, and luckily I had some good legs. I thought I was suffering, but then I asked my teammates also. They were suffering, so it was like it was a hard second part of the race, like with the altitude, heat. But the team was perfect, the staff was perfect, ice, water. It was really important today, and just to finish it off is unreal.
And you had the time to celebrate, a pretty special celebration. What was that all about?
Well, yes, like if I arrive in a sprint, like chances are I lose, so I had to go solo. Yeah, good work by the Swiss rider, he was pulling strong. Yeah, the celebration, just the spur of the moment, like with my teammate Alessandro. Yeah, we did it in training, and if one of us won, we had to do that. So
We'll do it on the podium now. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thanks, Lorenzo.
A nice interview with Lorenzo Finn. It seems like everybody is in a world of pain on this course. Just checking that everything was all right. 2 wins back to back, 2 world titles. You shoot, you score. Still riders finishing. We've only had 18 riders cross the line in 7 minutes. We get ready then for the podium presentation. I hope you've enjoyed today's racing. We look out over Kigali. Here's a reminder of the top 10 of today's race. Great shots of Lorenzo Finn coming across the line. We've now had 22 riders complete the course. The American rider Cole Kessler's just come in 22nd place. Jakob Söderqvist came in 18th. An exceptional performance by Jan Huber as well for Switzerland. That was a big day out. While the Rwandan flags are flying as always, the crowd at the stage is massive. Absolutely huge. Just to update you, the Brazilian rider has just come in. He finishes today in 32nd place, Henrique Ribeiro Bravo. Top 32. He was in all the moves, wasn't he? Great performance. Well, the Italians, I can see them making their way to the podium to congratulate their teammate. All three of them are together. They did all the work. One of the three Italians who set things up, Alessandro Borgo, Simone Gualdi and Pietro Matteo, are making their way now to the front of the stage. They want to be there to see their teammate take the world title. In a few moments, we're ready for the podium presentation. I've just seen right now Jano Rieder cross the line for Belgium. 33rd on the day. 11 minutes and 45 seconds down. You have to feel for them. They gave us so much entertainment at the beginning. But as Lorenzo Finn said, there was just attacks going on everywhere. Suddenly, the Belgian control was gone. Rider from South Africa's just finished. Eritrea as well in the top 40 riders, I think.
Don't take the line. 31 seconds is your lead. You got this. He knows it. He can't believe it. He's shaking his head.
The last moments of Lorenzo Finn making his way to the finish line. Lorenzo Finn crosses the line, the replay of his wonderful performance. The Italians enjoying those highlights. There they are, the three riders who made it all possible. They were the ones who lit everything up. They're on all the giant screens around here. There are no vantage points available now. Everybody on the balconies, on the stage, getting ready to cheer this rider. I think everybody's been enthralled by these races today. They have been incredible. A reminder then of our top 10 of the day. As I glance across here, I just see this unfolding in front of me. I can just see into the kind of back area of the stage as these three riders come across to give him a big round of applause and give him a hug and say well done. What a job they did. Time for him to go now and get on the stage so we can see him with his rainbow bands on. All riders just finishing, covered in salt. Time for the medal ceremony of the men's under-23 road race.
On a un collègue qui est tombé malade, alors on a changé de caméra. La souris,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the awards ceremony of the 2025 UCI Road World Championships in Kigali. Mesdames et messieurs, bienvenue à la cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde route UCI 2025 à Kigali.
Ikaze kuri mwese muteraniye hano, tubaha ikaze kuri mwese mudukurikiye, tubaha ikaze kandi mu birori byo gutanga ibihembo ku bakinnyi bitwaye neza muri shampiyona y'isi y'amagare y'ibihumbi 2025 UCI Road World Championships iri gukinirwa ahangaha i Kigali.
Awards ceremony of the 2025 UCI Road World Championships, men under 23 road race. Cérémonie protocolaire des championnats du monde route UCI 2025, course en ligne, hommes moins de 23 ans.
Hagiye guhembwa abatsinze muri shampiyona y'isi y'amagare mu 2025 mu cyiciro cy'abagabo bari munsi y'imyaka 23 road race, men under 23 road race.
The medals and jersey will be presented by Mr. Yao Jean-Marie Ala-Kouame, President of the African Cycling Federation. Les médailles et le maillot seront remis par Monsieur Yao Jean-Marie Ala-Kouame, Président de la Confédération africaine de cyclisme.
Imidari n'imyambaro igenerwa abatsinze igiye gutangwa na Bwana Yao Jean-Marie Ala-Kouame, akaba ari rero Perezida wa Confédération africaine y'amagare.
In third place, and winner of the bronze medal, representing Austria. À la troisième place et vainqueur de la médaille de bronze, représentant l'Autriche, Marco Schrettel.
Very well deserved. Marco Schrettel of Austria is the bronze medalist.
In second place, and winner of the silver medal, representing Switzerland. À la deuxième place et vainqueur de la médaille d'argent, représentant la Suisse.
Ku mwanya wa kabiri n'umudari wa feza byegukanywe n'umukinnyi ukinira Ubusuwisi,
Jan Huber.
This rider certainly deserves that silver medal.
In first place, UCI World Champion and winner of the gold medal, representing Italy. À la première place, champion du monde UCI et gagnant de la médaille d'or, représentant l'Italie.
shampiyona y'isi yo gusiganwa ku magare n'umudari wa zahabu yegukanywe n'umukinnyi ukinira Ubutaliyani
Lorenzo Marquin.
There's only one way the Italians celebrate, isn't there?
The gifts will be presented by Samson Daishimiye, president of the Wasi Rwandan Cycling Federation. Les cadeaux seront remis par Samson Daishimiye, président de la Fédération rwandaise de cyclisme.
impano zigiye gutangwa na bwana Samson Ndayishimiye perezida w'ishyirahamwe ry'umukino w'amagare mu Rwanda Ferwasi.
The Tissot watch will be presented by Mr. Yao Jean-Marie Ala-Kouame, UCI Management Committee member. La montre Tissot sera présentée par Monsieur Yao Jean-Marie Ala-Kouame, membre du comité directeur de l'UCI.
Impano y'isa ikorwa n'uruganda Tissot igiye gutangwa na bwana Yao Jean-Marie Ala-Kouame, umwe mu bagize komite nyobozi ya UCI.
Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of our new UCI World Champion, we present the national anthem of Italy. Mesdames et messieurs, en l'honneur de notre nouveau champion du monde UCI, nous présentons l'hymne national de l'Italie.
Mudufashe nanone gushimira uwegukanye shampiyona y'isi y'amagare mu gukomeza kandi kumuha icyubahiro. Twese duhaguruke mu gihe haririmbwa indirimbo yubahiriza igihugu cye cy'Ubutaliyani.
Ladies and gentlemen, please one more time your applause for our medalists. Mesdames et messieurs, veuillez applaudir une dernière fois nos médaillés.
Murakoze cyane, twongere dushimira abegukanye imidari mu irushanwa mu byiciro bitandukanye aribo
Lorenzo Marquefin, gold and world champion of a champion du monde. Yann Hubert, silver, argent. Marcos Chater, bronze, bronze. Mesdames et messieurs, votre podium.
There's our podium in the men's under 23 road race. Being done differently in this presentation, isn't it? The whole team's on the stage now. It's a big team effort. He dedicated his win to his girlfriend. The Gorilla's now back on stage, which is good news. We don't want to lose that, and this could go wrong. It nearly did go wrong. Title fall off the stage. How do they get him back up from here? I think it might be a while. Until he goes and signs some jerseys, which he's got to do now. Was for Italy with Borgo or Finn to win this title. What a performance. You cannot fault the way they rode. It was exemplary. Two great races, enthralling action all the way through. It shows what this course has to offer. He's going to go and sign some jerseys, do another interview, and then he has a lot to do this evening. It's obviously a very close-knit team.
So can we bring the tea so watch on the other side? Open. Go. Off you go. Off you go. Can somebody keep it? Yeah. I'm six. Tell me when you're finished.
He signs the jersey, last photographs.
2 Yorkshire wins today. The first kid from Yorkshire, you know that? Which one? The guy won the grade 6 from Harrogate. So your half, 2 Yorkshire wins. 1.5. So just pretend to sign it and smile, yeah? Smile down at me, Lorenzo. Good man.
The photographer is from close to where his dad is from as well. That's why they're having a bit of fun. We're going to leave you with the sights and sounds of this race. Lorenzo Finn will give us another interview, and he's going to sign his jersey and everything. It's been done differently in this under-23 road race. We'll leave you with the sights and sounds of a great victory from Lorenzo Finn. He goes back to back. Don't forget all the gifts. We're going to get ready tomorrow for some more racing. The women juniors and the women's elite is tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining me all day, and Rochelle Gilmore for joining me too. From me, Ant McCrossan, thanks very much for another great day here in Kigali in Rwanda. I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow morning, nice and early. Be there for more cycling action. Bye for now.
Lorenzo Finn, the 26th of September really is a special day for you. It's your lucky day.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like exactly 1 year later, I back it up to become under-23 world champion, and it's it's crazy. Also next year I stay in the under-23 category. I can wear the jersey for a full year. It's can't wait.
Did you expect it today?
Well, I knew I was in good shape and I was one of the favorites, but yeah, you never expect this. And with Jarno being here, I've never beaten him all year. But halfway the race, we went in a group of 6 and he wasn't there. And yeah, I knew he maybe was not on the best day. And then from there, I was one of the strongest, and yeah, I proved it at the finish.
You had to anticipate to win today.
Yeah, for sure. Like if you arrive on your own, you have 100% chance of win rate. So that's how I like to win.
What's next?
Oh, next is a bit of a party tonight, hopefully. Then yeah, European Championships and some races with the World Tour team.
And to win that jersey again next year, again in the same class.
Yeah, we'll think about that later.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. Thanks, Lorenzo. Enjoy the party.